Power to Practice presents how to set up Evexia lab favorites and configurations in P2P with Ali Tenhagen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ali Tenhagen, and I'm the Director of Lab Services here at Forum Health and Power to Practice. And today we're going to walk through how to set up your lab configurations and favorites that you want to have available for your Evexia diagnostics integration with Power to Practice. So as you can see here, I'm signed into my Power to Practice account, and I'm signed into your admin account for my test clinic that I'm in. You can set up lab configurations through either an admin account or an HCP account for your practice. However, I typically suggest that if you want the same lab favorites and panels and tests that you want to select to be available to all practice users, to typically do that through your admin account, and that will make that selection or those selections available to all users in your clinic. If you do these steps through your HCP account specifically, that will only make these selections and these favorites available for just your HCP account. So you might have a preference between the two, but for this example, I'm going to go ahead and do this through my admin account, but you would follow the same steps if you were doing this through your HCP account as well. So from this screen, or if you're on our HCP account, you would just click on these three little dots or dashes next to your username, and you could click on this admin button, and it would take you to the same selections here. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to select what lab companies do we actually want to use and have favorited in the system from the Evexia integration. So in this screen, once the Evexia integration is set up for your practice, you'll now have access to all of those Evexia available labs that they offer. So in this screen, you'll see both those Evexia available labs, but then all other labs that we also have set up in the Power to Practice system as well. So in this new search bar feature that we have, I can just simply type in Evexia, and what that will do is it will filter to show me by alphabetical order all of the specific labs that Evexia offers through their platform that you'll be able to see with the name of the lab company listed first, and then in parentheses you'll see Evexia's name, which would indicate that's an Evexia integrated and offered lab company that you're selecting. So from here, it looks like I already have a few selections made here. But you can easily select, let's say I want to have LabCorp as one of my favorites. Let's say I don't want to have this Meridian Valley for whatever reason favorited. We'll unselect that guy. We'll have Boston Heart. Let's say I use that often. 3x4 Genetics. Let's say I use that often. And then let's say Genova is my other selection that I want to make here. So that will be the first step, is just selecting what lab companies you want to have as your favorites that are going to show up in that ordering screen when you're ordering labs on a patient. So once we've made these selections, you can edit these selections at any time. So you would simply go to this same page to change any of those selections, add in any additional ones, or remove ones that maybe you previously had selected. From the screen, you don't need to necessarily save these selections. Just clicking that favorite box will automatically save that selection for you. And so now let's say I've selected LabCorp because I want to use the LabCorp offered Evexia tests, and I've clicked that as my favorite. But now let's say I want to set up my specific tests and maybe test groups or panels that I want to have available from LabCorp. So what we can do here is, again, you'll see that this lab is already favorited for you. So in this first screen, we don't need to do anything. But what you could do in this second screen is see all of the available tests that Evexia offers through this particular lab company that we have selected. So you'll see some of these tests are listed as a single test, and then some are listed as panels. So either you might be interested in using the Evexia pre-setup panels that they have for specific LabCorp tests, or maybe if you've had an Evexia account prior, to setting up this integration with Power to Practice. Maybe you've set up some custom panels with Evexia Diagnostics through LabCorp as well. You'll be able to view all of those tests and panels through this screen. And then you can also, of course, search for any. So let's say I want to see what types of tests are available that include TSH. It'll automatically show you all of those specific tests, the name of the test, and then the LabCorp specific test ID with any CPT or procedure codes that are available for that test. So now let's go to actually setting up some of these. So it looks like I have some already set up today. So I can either delete these and customize this to exactly what it is that I want for my clinic and that I'm going to use on a regular basis. So let's say I want to have these particular tests already set up in my commonly ordered test selection. Let's say I also want to add a CBC, a CMP. Let's say I want to add a TSH like we searched for before. So we can really add any of those tests that Evexia offers from this lab company in this section. And so from here, we can either custom sort these to however we want to sort them that makes sense for you, or you can click this sort by alphabetical feature, and that will automatically sort all of these commonly ordered tests that you have selected by alphabetical order for you. So from this screen, we'll want to save this selection. So once our commonly ordered test selections have been saved, now what we can do is we can go set up any test groups or test panels that we want to have available as quick one-click options. So you can name these whatever that you want to name them. So let's say I have an initial panel that I run on every patient. Let's say I want to do a thyroid panel. Really, whatever it is that you want to have available in here, you can have available. And very similar to how you could also sort your commonly ordered test selections in whatever way you want, you can move these panels around so that if you want your thyroid panel to be listed first because that's the one that you order the most, you can shuffle that to the top. Once you've gotten those to where you would like them, what we'll do is once you have the panel highlighted, like I have here for my thyroid panel, I'll make the selections of what tests do I want to include in that particular panel. So let's say I want to add these 3 tests into my thyroid panel, and let's say I want to add all of these tests into my initial panel for every patient. Once we make those selections, we'll easily just, again, save those configurations and favorites that you have set up. So now that we've saved all of our commonly ordered test selections and the test groups and panels that we want to have available for LabCorp through Evexia in our P2P, what we can do next is we can kind of walk through the same steps with some of our specialty companies as well. So I'm going to type in Evexia again, and I think I favorited our Genova option. So I'm going to click on Genova. Again, you can see all of the tests that are available through each of these particular lab companies and all of the names of the tests as well. And we'll go through those exact same steps to set up our Genova configurations. So let's say I use the GIFX test from Genova. So I can start typing that in and it'll pull up all of the options for that. So I chose the 1-day option for this. Let's say I also use their SIBO test as well and their NutrAval. So again, you can either custom sort these to whatever works best for you. You can alphabetize these if that's what works best for you as well. And once you've made those selections, we can again save those favorites, or if for whatever reason you always order the GIFX with the SIBO test for patients, we can also create those same test groups for any of these specialty companies. So I'm going to name this panel our GI panel. And like I said, let's say for whatever reason, I always do the GIFX test with the SIBO test for all of my patients. So once you've made those same selections that you like, from here, again, we'll just save those configurations. Once we save those configurations, I'm going to actually sign into my HCP account with my test account for my Evexia practice, what you'll be able to then see is once you go to a patient's chart, you'll get to kind of see some of this in action. So once I go to a test patient's chart, I go to that ordering and lab test option here. In this lab company section is now where I'll see all of those selections that I've made. And all of those specific favorites that I've created for my particular lab companies. So that's how you'll set up all of your test configurations and your favorite lab companies through the Evexia diagnostics integration in P2P.
Thank you for joining the Power to Practice presentation on how to set up Evexia lab favorites and configurations with Ali Tenhagen.